This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news. It's Monday, June 16th, 2025, and here are today's stories.
This weekend, streets across America filled with chants, signs, and a unified call for change during the 2025 No Kings protest.
They're the hidden backbone of Canada's farms and job sites, but many migrant workers face poor conditions and broken promises. We look at the gap between what they're told and how they're treated. A drug meant to ease morning sickness became one of history's worst medical disasters. Thalidomide survivors are still seeking justice decades later, urging governments to make good on their promises. In Nigeria, Field Messenger Ade reports on how farmers and local leaders are restoring land and boosting the economy through sustainable collaboration. Running is booming, but for many women it comes with fear. We explore why safety is still a serious concern and what's being done about it. Then we travel to Japan, where Field Messenger Toshio shares a stunning view of 260 islands rising from the sea, a natural wonder shaped by ancient peaks. And we wrap up in California's Tujunga, where Field Messengers Elise and Vahagan discover a serene escape on the rim of the Valley Trail.
Millions across the U.S. joined the No Kings protests opposing Donald Trump, held at around 2,000 locations nationwide. The demonstrations coincided with the president's military parade in Washington, D.C.
Field Messenger Amy reporting for UNN from Essex County, New Jersey. Today I attended two No Kings mass protests. One was in Montclair, which has a very diverse community, from people living in homeless shelters to the very wealthy. This event was held in Brookdale Park. There were sheriff cars parked all around for security. There was an area roped off for the elderly and handicapped, and one area for the press. There was a band playing to get the people riled up before the guest speakers took the stage, mostly local politicians. The second protest I attended was in the town of Caldwell. Caldwell is a mostly Italian, affluent community. This protest consisted of protesters holding signs and lining both sides of Bloomfield Avenue, the main street that goes through the town. Cars driving by would honk in support of the protesters, and I heard others yelling obscenities as they drove by. In both places I found people in the crowd who came from other places than the towns where these protests were being held. I interviewed people attending this event and asked them just 3 questions. Number 1, why are you attending today's event? Number 2, what direction do you think the country is heading in post-COVID? And number 3, have you been personally affected by what's going on? So let's see what they had to say.
Okay, I'm Ken. I'm one of the volunteer coordinators for the Caldwell's Indivisible, the group that is organizing today's protest here in Caldwell. And I'm out here personally, and I think a lot of other people are as well, because we have to stand up to what's happening in our country. The current administration is attempting to destroy our democracy, to impose an authoritarian government, to dismantle most of the programs that help the ordinary citizens and residents of the United States in favor of enriching wealthy people. I'm here because this is probably not going to directly affect me, but my kids and my grandkids. This is so bad for the country. We are so headed in the wrong direction.
We're here at the protest today in Caldwell to protest some of the policies that are happening right now. Picking up immigrants that are going to court and trying to do the right thing, and they're being told you should do the right thing, but then be picked up anyway. Just the general direction of the country, the loosening of environmental laws. I have a daughter who works for a contractor for FEMA, and her boyfriend works for wind energy. company, and they're fearful every day that they're going to lose their jobs. That's kind of why we're here. We're afraid for the future.
Any support is something. We have every right to stand up against our government if we don't like what's going on. So that's exactly what we're doing today. Like the sign says here, we can't let the people in power have all the power. It needs to be us and my generation and her generation, everybody to come together and just stand up for what we think should be happening.
Hi, how are you? My name is Amanda Fields Rivera. I'm the mother of an active duty Marine who is stationed in California. And I'm here today against fascism, and also because I believe that post-COVID, this country, well, post-Trump, this country has been in dire straits. And we need someone who cares about us, who cares about the regular working class American. And we need help. We need help. We can't do this alone.
Both protests lasted for just 2 hours. My observation of the protesters in both places is that they were mostly white older people. I don't know what that means, but it was not what I expected.
Hi, this is Kathy, field messenger for United Network News. I'm at a protest rally. It's called No King. And I've been talking to people, lots of nice folks out here, and just thought I would report on that. Today is June 14th, 2025, and I'm in Burleson, Texas. And I'm here with Cindy. We are at a No Kings, protest. And Cindy wanted to explain why she's here and what's going on.
I do believe that our nation is in a crisis, and I want to do something to help with that. So if I can, in a peaceful way, do my part, that's what I want to do.
Way to go, Cindy. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate that.
You bet.
My name's Ethan. I'm in Burleson, Texas. I'm here because I support the Constitution above all else, because it calls for due process for all persons on U.S. soil.
Yeah.
Now is our time to lock arms, band together, vote these MAGA neo-Confederates out of office, and end Citizens United.
This has been a very energetic, peaceful protest. Lots of nice people that I'm about to talk to. Lots of passionate people. Lots of people that are really sad and upset about the government of the United States and its leadership. And I have talked with a lot of people, and one lady said that they counted over 565 people that have come out to show their support for our country and to say, let's make some changes. Let's make some changes. They're not pleased with the leadership. This has been Kathy for United Network News.
Hi, this is Diane, field messenger with United Network News, reporting from Surf City, North Carolina. And right now we have peaceful protesting going on at about 9 o'clock this morning. The bridge going over to the mainland has folks all over, but for right now, peaceful. We got child supporters, and then we also have widow peace.
even though they had extra police staged at each side of the bridge. It was a very peaceful protest. Thank you for watching. I'm Diane, Field Messenger for United Network News.
Canada's migrant workers play a key role in agriculture, construction, and service industries, but their stories often go unheard. These workers leave their homes, hoping to create better opportunities for their families. But while they're promised fair wages and stable jobs, the reality can be much tougher, raising concerns about whether they're being treated fairly or taken advantage of.
Canada's temporary foreign worker program lets employers bring in foreign workers to fill temporary labor and skills shortages when qualified Canadians aren't available. As demand for labor grows, employers rely on migrant workers, willing to work long hours for low pay. However, this can lead to exploitation and mistreatment, as these workers may not be aware of their rights or have the means to stand up for themselves. Even more, temporary migrants in Canada often get blamed for things like high grocery prices and the housing crisis. But many face housing struggles themselves, especially farm workers. These essential workers often live in overcrowded, unsafe conditions right on the farms, blurring the line between work and home. This setup leads to isolation, constant surveillance, and sometimes abuse, all while being separated from their families for long stretches. Research involving migrant workers in Ontario and British Columbia shows poor housing harms their health, well-being, and leaves them feeling controlled and undervalued.
By just entering the house, it was filthy. To be honest, I don't even consider it a farm. It's like a dump. Heading up the stairs, it was all dirt. Just by walking up the stairs, you can see the dust like puffing up, right? There wasn't no heat. It was around seven of us have to share one restroom. There are bunk beds, and they're very, very filthy. To be frank, I couldn't even sleep. I have to sit up the whole night because I was really upset. I was like, what's this? I didn't came here for this. It was so claustrophobic because the room is so small. We were cooking one night, and I went upstairs, and my family member, he was downstairs, and he like called me and said, "Hey, come. You don't guess what I caught." And when I went downstairs, there were 2 rats he killed in our kitchen. And I have videos of that. I have video of rats eat out our food. We're sitting there eating dinners, and rat come to eat dinner with us.
In 2024, the United Nations criticized the program for poor working conditions, a concern Amnesty International shared in a report from January 2025. Despite years of reviews and consultations, not much has changed. The government has made little progress on improving housing or setting clear, enforceable standards. Recommendations include ending closed work permits, offering more pathways to permanent residency, protecting workers' rights to unionize, and increasing oversight.
It's a Canadian program that's run for nearly 60 years, but now the United Nations is calling it out. A recently released UN investigation says Canada's temporary foreign worker program serves as a breeding ground for contemporary forms of slavery.
The allegations that are made in the report would come as no surprise to any immigration lawyer in Canada.
The UN Special Rapporteur into contemporary forms of slavery points to how many temporary workers are tied to an employer through a closed work permit, meaning they're only allowed to work for the company that sponsored them to come to Canada, leading to examples of what he says is underpayment, wage theft, physical, emotional, and verbal abuse.
When a foreign worker is on a closed work permit, that employer holds the key to them being able to stay in Canada on a temporary basis, sometimes on a permanent basis.
The special rapporteur came to these conclusions in part during a 2-week trip to Canada last year and provided limited statistics to back up his claims, but he does point to the explosion of the temporary program in recent years. In 2018, there were 84,000 temporary foreign workers, while in 2022, it jumped to over 135,000, many of whom have come as low-wage workers.
We're making our businesses addicted to low-wage labor instead of them going and investing in innovation and investing in productivity.
That addiction is in a weakening labor market. Youth unemployment is at its highest level since 2014, and an analysis by Bloomberg estimates unemployment for temporary workers themselves has reached 11%, both nearly double the current general unemployment rate.
The temporary foreign worker program requires employers to prove Canadian workers didn't apply or weren't qualified before hiring migrant workers. But here's the thing. Some experts argue jobs stay unfilled not because of a lack of workers, but because wages just aren't high enough to attract Canadians. Others point out low wages and poor working conditions are more about bad employers than the program itself. For example, 2 former farm workers from British Columbia, or BC, spoke out, filing a complaint. A federal investigation found no issues, but BC's Employment Standards Branch stepped in and awarded $80,000 to 5 workers for labor violations. This points to a bigger issue, a mismatch between federal and provincial labor rules.
Danielle Concha and Francesca Reyes left Chile, dreaming of a better life in Canada.
I leave my job there because I think here I have a really good opportunity, a better job, better house, better life.
Their first job was living and working on an Abbotsford farm. It wasn't what they expected.
It was horrible to see because the house where we live there was very dirty.
We work 12, 15 hours per day, 7 days a week.
Concha says he and his partner were hired to do quality control of fruit, sort it and clean it, but their contracts described them as farm workers. He and Reyes were paid the same as berry pickers, with no overtime or vacation pay, and then their contract was cut short. In 2021, they were 2 of 5 workers who complained to Service Canada, which launched an audit. Federal inspectors found no problems, but they never spoke to the workers.
So really coming forward is really challenging for workers. The fear of loss of employment is particularly high.
In this case, it seemed hopeless. But this January, BC's Employment Standards Branch awarded the 5 workers close to $80,000 in compensation for unpaid overtime, vacation pay, and misrepresenting the length of the contract.
Yeah, a long time waiting for that.
Despite the decision, the Abbotsford operation where they worked is still able to hire foreign workers.
If your employer is breaking the temporary foreign worker program rules or mistreating you, report it by calling Service Canada's confidential tip line at 1-866-602-9448 or using their online form. You can stay anonymous and help is available in more than 200 languages. In the early 1960s, a drug called Thalidomide was widely marketed to pregnant women as a treatment for morning sickness. But what followed became one of the most devastating pharmaceutical disasters in history. Decades later, survivors around the world are still dealing with the consequences and calling on governments to fulfill their promises.
Thalidomide first appeared on the market in the late 1950s, hailed as a non-addictive sedative and a safe solution for pregnancy-related nausea. But the drug had never been properly tested on pregnant women. What seemed like a miracle treatment quickly revealed itself to be a medical catastrophe. According to global health estimates, more than 10,000 babies worldwide were born with serious birth defects. Limbs failed to develop. Internal organs were malformed. About half of those children died within the first year of life.
Peter Braun has always valued his independence. He was born with a disability. When his mother was expecting him, she took a single dose of the sedative thalidomide, leading to numerous malformations. Naturally, it was a huge shock. I was practically welcomed into the world with the midwife screaming, "Oh my God!" Life hasn't always been easy for the 60-year-old and his family. It's a question of fate, but I've seen it more as a challenge. How can I make the best of it?
Thalidomide was developed in the 1950s by the German pharmaceutical company Chemie Grunenthal. It quickly gained popularity and was licensed to distributors in more than 40 countries under various brand names, including Contergan in Germany, Distaval in the UK and Australia, and Talimol in Canada. Although it was never approved for sale in the United States, it was distributed there through clinical trials. In 1961, doctors in Germany and Australia uncovered the drug's devastating impact on fetal development. This discovery led to the drug's withdrawal. The withdrawal process was slow and inconsistent, particularly in countries with weak regulatory oversight. In the face of growing evidence and public outrage, Grunenthal responded defensively, denying any connection between thalidomide and birth defects, even though internal records later revealed the company had prior knowledge of serious side effects.
Her mother rejected her.
10-year-old Carl Davies leads a relatively normal life for a boy without arms.
Another young mother, her husband, her sister, and her doctor are charged with the mercy killing of her deformed infant.
I'm one of the lucky ones in that my parents were adamant that I was their daughter and their daughter first before anything else, and it was treated as such. Many were put in homes because they just didn't know what to do. Some families battled with doctors to have amputation of fingers and toes and whatnot to accommodate these prosthetics. Many families were broken irrevocably.
Instead of quickly settling, the drug companies dug in, with Grunenthal originally arguing that the children's deformities were caused by everything from nuclear fallout to botched home abortions. Anything but thalidomide.
It was a very long and difficult process.
Most cases were eventually settled, but litigation continues, with some survivors saying the original settlements cannot cover the cost of their specialized care. Grunenthal didn't apologize to its victims until 2012, 50 years after the tragedy unfolded.
They issued a statement saying that it has taken them the 50 years to come forward to say anything because they were shocked. They don't have a right to be shocked. The shock doesn't belong to them.
Several governments have issued formal apologies to thalidomide survivors, recognizing the severe harm caused by the drug and the regulatory oversights that allowed it to be sold. In Germany, where the drug originated, survivors receive monthly compensation based on the severity of their disabilities. The UK apologized in 2010 and allocated 80 million euros in support through the Thalidomide Trust. Canada followed in 2015, offering lump sum payments and annual compensation based on the disability, later expanding the program in 2019. Australia offered a national apology in 2023, although survivors there continue to seek more substantial support. Sweden, Norway, and other countries have also provided varying levels of financial or social aid.
We are sorry. We are more sorry than we can say.
Tears in the public gallery for a national apology delivered 62 years after thalidomide was torn off chemist shelves, once marketed as a wonder drug for women battling morning sickness, instead leading to miscarriages and lifelong deformities in babies, tearing families apart.
These parents did not fail their children. The system failed them both.
For all the parents that aren't here anymore, we will never forget them. What they went through.
After learning of the dangers in the early 1960s, our government took months to act.
Why would you not take it off the market when they could have?
You are more than owed this apology.
The only light to come from a bleak chapter, the start of Australia's medical testing regime. And tonight, payments for survivors will be given a boost as the health of many deteriorates, but their spirit grows stronger.
Tough life, but damn, it's worth living.
In Malta, the government pledged €3 million in 2023 for thalidomide survivors, but only about €1 million has been dispersed so far. Survivors have criticized the shortfall as a human rights issue. The government says the amount was an estimate, with final payouts based on age and disability to be distributed over 3 years. Survivors warn not fulfilling the full promise could harm Malta's reputation on disability rights. The thalidomide disaster, though tragic, led to major global reforms in drug regulation. It prompted stricter approval processes, especially for drugs used during pregnancy. In the U.S., it inspired amendments requiring drugs to be proven safe and effective, improving clinical trial oversight, labeling, and informed consent.
Hello, I'm Susan from Sweden.
Wanda Michael from Eastern Uganda, Africa.
Hi, I'm Tim from Vancouver, Canada.
I'm Titeshwar Togao from Manipur State, India. I'm Gumba Obasi from Southeast Nigeria.
Arnaito Chakrini from Western Uganda, Mbarara.
At United Network News, you are the news.
My name's Christina, Field Messenger, report first one in the hurricane down here in Southern California from Mexico.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. At UNN, our field messengers are changing the face of news.
This is Jason from United Network News. We're going to be doing some aircrete building with new technologies that allow us to live in comfort and also off the grid.
Take the next step in changing the way the world gets the news. Become a UNN field messenger today.
I am Michelle from South Africa, and we are the United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
If it is going to be, then it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
Si va a ser así, depende de mí. It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to me.
It's up to all of us. We're UNN.
Step into a world of possibilities with New Earth, a groundbreaking series that shines light on holistic ways to live, work, and thrive. Join us weekly to discover new innovative ideas and explore the world around us as we, together, create our future, our new Earth.
UNN Field Messenger Ade reports on restoration efforts in Nigeria. He highlights initiatives such as collaborating with industry stakeholders and an association of farmers to promote economic growth and sustainability.
Hi, this is Ade, Field Messenger for United Network News, reporting from Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. Today, I am reporting about our restoration activities in Nigeria. In 2021, we came together as a group to plan and bring about restoration in Nigeria in an organized and structured fashion. We carried out needs assessment research in many sectors of the economy. We organized webinars on Telegram and Zoom to do public enlightenment. We talked to small and medium-scale enterprises and professional bodies in Nigeria who we called industry stakeholders to bring to their attention the existence of CARE and the restoration plan towards achieving economic restoration for the people of Nigeria. Many showed interest. Among them is the Association of Jatropha Farmers, Processors, and Marketers of Nigeria. Jatropha is a drought-resistant plant. It is an efficient and economical source of biofuel, a solution to the global energy, water, and environmental challenges. The seeds are processed to produce oil. This oil can be used immediately as fuel additive in all manner of engines and domestic appliances using fossil fuel. It has the advantage of reducing consumption of fossil fuel at home and in vehicles, cleaning the engine to increase engine efficiency, converting vehicle emissions from carbon monoxide to oxygen. Jatropha can also serve as an additional source of household income and employment through markets for fertilizer, animal feed, medicine, and industrial raw materials for soap and cosmetics. The association is government recognized. Our public membership organization enables us to relate confidently and have formal agreement with them. An event was held on April 24th, 2025 to sign a production contract agreement with the association. The occasion was graced by the presence of mainstream media organizations in the newsprint and electronic media. Bye-bye for now.
Running has become a favorite activity for millions, with races selling out and social media buzzing with inspiring posts and tips. Yet for many women, what should be the simple joy of a jog is often clouded by safety concerns. While running outdoors, women face a higher risk of assault and harassment than men, stemming from deep-rooted societal issues like the sexualization of women and victim blaming.
Harassment while running comes in many forms, ranging from verbal insults to physical intimidation. Pedestrians might mock runners, cyclists may follow too closely, and drivers sometimes make inappropriate noises. Women often endure crude comments about their appearance or physique, while overweight runners are subjected to fat-shaming remarks. These experiences create feelings of insecurity and frustration, especially when women feel dismissed after sharing their stories, often accused of exaggerating or discouraging others from taking up running.
Not running by yourself makes sense, but I'm still pissed that I have to think, should I run by myself?
And I like running by myself.
I know.
That's my favorite thing about running is it's for you.
Exactly. And I don't know what the solve is. You wear reflectors, you make the decision to run on a lit path, you run in places where there's other people.
You're vigilant.
You do all of those things, and I mean, yes, we shouldn't have to look at everybody who passes us and think, is this person ill-willed or not? It sucks that the rest of us who just want to live a healthy life and have exercise as a major way to do that we have to think about it.
A 2024 University of Manchester study shows more than 2/3 of women in the UK face harassment while running, including verbal abuse, threats, and even being followed or assaulted. Verbal harassment is the most common issue, affecting 58%. While others reported being followed or flashed. Shockingly, only 5% of incidents are reported to police, as many women see it as too common or doubt action will be taken. Safety concerns, including fears of serious crimes like rape, have led women to adopt extra precautions while jogging. A women's running poll found 10% of women had even been spat on during runs, with most believing it was intentional. Experts argue society places the burden of safety on women instead of addressing male aggression and systemic gender violence. Critics believe this approach limits women's freedom and unfairly shifts responsibility away from addressing the root cause of the issue. While equality movements have changed this mindset, many still see it as easier for women to take precautions than for men to change their behavior.
How do female runners stay safe? I'm extremely privileged because we live in Somerset, we live in the country, and I do a lot of my running with my dog. And I have never, ever been threatened when I've been out running, but I'm in a lot of community groups on Facebook where girls have been catcalled, they've had cars trying to mow them down, and there have been recently a couple of girls murdered while out running on the trails, which is absolutely horrific. So if I was living somewhere in a city or whatever, I would probably take these alarms with me. Yeah. You should always have your tracker on your phone. And I think you should always tell someone at home where you're going and tell them roughly how long you're going to be. Give them a rough idea of your route so that if you're not home in time, they can actually track you down. Most of us wear Garmin watches that can be tracked as well. And I think that we really do need to start thinking about safety.
To stay safer while running, there are steps women can take. If you don't use a GPS watch, consider carrying your phone for emergencies. Music can be motivating, but headphones can block out important sounds like approaching cars or people. Try open ear headphones or leave one earbud out. Running in well-populated areas and regularly changing up your routes can make you less predictable. If you use tracking apps, ensure your privacy settings limit who can see your activity. Running in the dark can be safer with a friend, your dog, or someone biking alongside you. Always let someone know your route and plans, and consider carrying self-defense tools for extra peace of mind when running alone.
The issue of safety while running is not new. For decades, women have faced harassment and violence in public spaces, with little meaningful action taken to address the problem. Every human should be able to safely exercise in the great outdoors. But until things change, it's important for women to stay aware and take precautions for their safety.
UNN Field Messenger Toshio explores one of Japan's 3 most scenic views, a stunning bay filled with 260 unique islands formed from ancient mountaintops. Visitors can enjoy panoramic sights and boat tours to fully experience this natural wonder.
Hello, this is Field Messenger Toshio, reporting for United Network News from Matsushima, Miyagi District, Japan. これは日本三景を紹介するリレーレポートの第1回です。去年私はその一つ松島を友人たちと訪れました。松島湾には大小260の島々が浮かび、その美しい景観は広島の宮島、京都の天橋立と並んで日本三景の一つとされています。これはリアス式海岸がさらに沈降あるいは浸食されて形成された地形で、海上に残った山頂部分が島となったものです。遊覧船に乗ると奇妙であったり美しかったりするさまざまな島を間近から見ることができます。津波で多数の犠牲者が出た2011年の東日本大震災の際は、多数の島々と湾内の水深の浅さが防波堤の役割を果たして、松島の町は比較的被害が軽微だったといいます。湾内を遊覧船で進みながら、私はここが神々に守られた場所であるかのように感じました。このリレーリポートの2回目では、健二さんが日本三景の一つ、宮島を紹介します。This is a Field Messenger Toshio, reporting for United Network News from Matsushima, Miyagi District, Japan. Thank you for watching.
The Rim of the Valley Trail in Tahunga, California provides peaceful surroundings, lush greenery, wild herbs, and breathtaking views. UNN Field Messenger Elise and Verhagen explore this beautiful city escape.
Good day, Field Messenger Verhagen with
Elise, and we're reporting for UNN,
coming to you from Tahunga, California.
And today Verhagen is going to show us his favorite hiking trail and just this natural beauty that we love to enjoy.
coming to you from the rim of the Valley Trail.
And it's only open to local people because they're the only ones who know it's here. So today it's a special treat for me that he's sharing this experience.
Come, let's go explore together.
So this is the view from about halfway up where we're going. And then you can see civilization, you can see the highway in the back. And this forest is like the only green stuff around. We're in Los Angeles. I'm so thankful I'm starting to feel the goodness and just being here in the tranquility of nature and away from human existence.
Every time I pass by this elder tree, I like to stop and say hi because most people just walk by, but I like to stop and pay my respects and show my appreciation. As you can see, it's very large and branched out, so it's been here for a very long time.
I love coming out here to enjoy the calm, tranquil ambiance, and also I'm surrounded by nature's wild herbs. We got mustard seed here, we got rosemary bush, and we got sage. And if you want, you can do some wild foraging while you're here.
So along our hike, we came across this beautiful sage bush. And what you can do with this is dry it and use it for clearing spaces. They call it smudging. This is just a beautiful pathway. So we are over 1.5 miles up into this hike. And this is where Vahagan likes to go. And Vahagan, why is this place so important to you?
I refer to this place as my sanctuary because I just love to come and bathe in nature and become one as I meditate and embrace nature as it hugs me while I'm here.
This simple dirt path, but when you look what you're surrounded by as you go up, we're just surrounded by this beautiful, gorgeous, lush, green, mountainous area.
As we hike this rim of the valley trail, nature sporadically stimulates our senses. From the gentle breeze filled with floral scents, from the colorful flowers that pop out amongst the green foliage, to crossing paths with a bunny, or just enjoying the sounds of the birds, give us just pause to enjoy the natural beauty that surrounds us.
May this report inspire you to get out and enjoy nature. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
UNN is changing the face of news. Join us for our weekly Field Messenger meetings and learn how you can make a difference. Visit unitednetwork.earth for more information. Thanks for watching.